Hi everyone, and welcome to my kitchen. Also welcome back to the Decoding Gym Rat Brocab series. This is part 4 of 5 of the series, and today we're finally getting to the good stuff that everybody loves to hear about. Dieting, supplements, like what are macros, what is a refeed, what is a diet break, and also what is creatine? What is protein powder? What is all this bullshit? That's what we're gonna be talking about today while I meal prep some rice and ground beef. Let's start with our first words. What are calories, macros, and micros? Calories are basically what our bodies use for energy. Every single food we eat is made up of calories. Some foods are more calories than other foods. Some foods you can eat a lot of for very little calories, and some foods you can eat very little of for very many calories. And gym rats use calories because if you count your calories, you know exactly what you're consuming, whether your goal is fat loss, whether your goal is to gain muscle mass. It's easier to get to your goal when you're counting your calories, okay? And then macros, it's basically another unit of measuring how much food you're eating. There are 3 macros in every food that we eat. In this apple, there are carbs, proteins, and fats. In this banana, there are carbs, proteins, and fats. But fruit, for example, is mostly made out of carb. So when you eat an apple, you can kind of count it more as a carb source than a protein or a fat source. It might have really trace amounts of fats and proteins, but they're still there. And then micros are the little vitamins and minerals, fiber, water found in your food. So this apple, for example, it's not only made out of carbs, it's made up of vitamin, minerals, fiber, water. And the reason why we talk about micros is because micros support our health. And if your health is in a good place, you're most likely going to be making better gains. So a smart fitness person doesn't just focus on calories and macros, they also focus on micros. Let's fucking make some rice, Jesus Christ. I just realized that I can't really multitask. So if you're a fitness person and you want to count your calories or your macros, the best way to do that would be to look at the nutrition label on the back of whatever food product you're eating. In the example that I'm using, like if you take a Fairlife Core Power protein shake, if you look on the back at the nutrition facts, it'll show you how many calories, proteins, carbs, and fats are in that protein shake. And then you can use a calorie calculator like MyFitnessPal, for example. I use MacroFactor, and I can link that down below. And you can start tracking how much food you're eating and start learning whether you need to be eating more food to get closer to your goals or less food to be getting closer to your goals. Okay, next on the list, we have bulking and cutting. So remember how I was telling you how you can use your calories and macros to figure out either how to gain weight, lose fat, or gain muscle? Well, this is basically, these processes are called bulking and cutting. So if you're in a phase where you want to lose some fat, you are cutting. So you'll hear people in the gym being like, oh bro, I'm cutting. Like, I don't feel as strong these days because I'm cutting. I'm in a deficit, okay? And then if you're bulking, you're like, nah, bro, I'm gonna keep my pump cover on because I'm bulking right now. I feel a little bit fluffy. Bulking being that you're gaining mass and you're probably gaining a little fat too. That's just kind of how it goes. So bulking and cutting, they're separate processes because we understand that it's very difficult to build muscle and get stronger when you're in a caloric deficit. And we also understand that it's very difficult to lose fat, to reveal the muscles that you built when you're in a bulk because you're in a caloric surplus. You're gaining not only muscle, but you're also gaining a little bit of fat. Ideally, when you're bulking, you're doing a clean bulk or you're doing a slow bulk where you're gaining about 1 to 2, maybe 3 pounds on the scale per month. So for example, I did a 6-month bulk and I gained 10 pounds in 6 months. So a little bit less than 2 pounds per month. And then I'm doing a cut right now and my cut is gonna be 12 weeks long and my goal is to lose roughly half a pound to 1 pound per week or lose 2 to 4 pounds per month. Does that make sense? Notice how both of these processes are slow. And the best way that I can explain it is when you're baking cookies and you want the cookies to bake faster, is the solution to turn the heat up in the stove? No, you're gonna burn the cookies. They're gonna be tough. That's not what you want. Same thing with cutting. Sometimes we have to accept that there's a pace of fat loss that is appropriate. And sometimes when we try to turn up the heat to try and lose fat too quickly, it usually backfires. Maybe you burn out, haha, pun intended. Or maybe you're losing weight so quickly that you end up losing all of that muscle that you built. So the reason why we split it up into bulking and cutting is because these are separate processes, separate functions in the body. So typically bodybuilders, strong people in the gym, we are gonna bulk and then we're gonna cut. And after we're done cutting, to reveal how much muscle we built, most likely we're not done yet and we go back into the bulk, and you kind of repeat these cycles over and over. So here are examples of me bulking. When I'm bulking, I'm eating 2,600 plus calories per day to build muscle. I'm training like a fucking maniac. I'm feeling so strong in the gym. I'm also feeling a little bit fluffy. I'm probably not gonna be shirtless like I am right now. My muscles aren't quite as defined, and I'm gaining about 2 pounds per month. When I'm cutting, I'm eating less food. Maybe my cut starts at 2,100 calories, but as I get deeper into the cut, I have to continue to lower my calories. If you wanna learn more about fat loss, I have a fat loss video on my YouTube channel that I can link. Since I'm in a deficit, I'm most likely not getting stronger. Maybe I am, but definitely not as quickly as I was when I was bulking, or I'm just maintaining my strength. Hopefully I am not losing my strength, okay? And I'm feeling leaner now, maybe I have my shirt off because I'm feeling better in my body, but I'm also feeling kind of weak in the gym, and that can be frustrating too. But my muscles are becoming more defined, and like I said, I'm losing about 0.5 pound to 1 pound per week. So that's kind of how bulking and cutting looks and how they are different. Now, what the frick is a diet break? What is a refeed? What is carb cycling? So these words are kind of used interchangeably, but the purpose of a diet break and the purpose of a refeed or a carb cycle is basically just helping you stick to the fat loss phase for longer. Sometimes it's really important to take a break from counting calories, take a break from eating in a deficit, because obviously it's very fatiguing on the body, very fatiguing on the mind. And sometimes a break is necessary so you can kind of like recharge your psyche so you can continue to push and continue to reach your goal of losing fat. Fat loss isn't anything to take lightly. I feel like before I understood about nutrition and fat loss, I thought fat loss was just like, just eat as little as possible, lose as quickly as possible. But it really is more intricate than that, because our goal isn't to lose fat at all costs. Our goal is to lose fat while maintaining muscle, and lose fat for the long term, not the short term, and lose fat, but always, always, always put our physical, our mental health first, okay? Because what's the point of being hot if you feel like freaking shit all the time? I tried it. Listen, I tried it. I tried looking hot while feeling like shit, and it really did not work for me. I rebounded, I gained all the way back. So don't make the same mistakes. Diet breaks, refeeds, carb cycling, it's just tools that strong people, gym rats use in the gym to give themselves a break from dieting. The cool thing about carb cycling is you can plan your week so that you eat less calories Monday through Thursday, for example, and then you can eat a little bit more on the weekends, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Now, don't confuse this for a cheat day. Don't confuse this for, if I eat healthy Monday through Thursday, I can just kick the bucket in and do whatever the fuck I want on the weekends. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying you have a little bit more calories. You're still sticking to your calories. You're still sticking to your macros, but you have a little bit more leeway to enjoy a cookie because you decided to bake cookies with your roommates. It's just a way to make fat loss fit in to and around your life better. Back in the day, we used to think that diet breaks and like carb cycling was a way to like ramp our metabolisms back up. And from what I understand, there's just not conclusive evidence that that is true. So I employ diet breaks and I employ carb cycling like I said, just as a way to make fat loss as psychologically easier as I possibly can, okay? So here's examples of diet breaks. So on a diet break, maybe your deficit was 1,800 calories a day, and then on a diet break, maybe you raise your calories back up to maintenance. So maybe your new maintenance is 2,200. Does that make sense? So you're not completely going off the rails. You're just mindfully eating a little bit more food to give your psychology and your body a break so you can keep trucking along. And then a refeed or carb cycle looks like this. It's more like eating a little bit less on some days so that you have a little bit more leeway on like the weekends, for example, or maybe a little bit more leeway to eat more food on like a heavy leg day, on the days that you train a heavy leg day. Does that make sense? These are just tools that help dieting be a lot easier. Again, you're not going balls to the wall on Friday and Saturdays. 1,600 on Thursday, and then you get, what is that? You get 500 extra calories. So maybe that's one burger, okay? It's not a burger with the fries and the shake and the million dipping sauces. It's mindful. Okay, let's freaking make this meat. Okay, then we have recomping and gaintaining. Recomping and gaintaining are similarly used. Recomping is generally a word that we use to describe something that would happen to a gym noob. So when you're first getting into working out in the gym, your body is so excited that you are exercising and treating it right and eating more protein that you'll notice that maybe the weight on the scale isn't changing, but your body is changing. You feel leaner, you feel like you're losing weight, but the scale isn't changing. Your clothes are fitting you better, you're starting to see muscle definition. And the reason for this is because you're most likely gaining muscle and losing fat at the same time. Now, we understand that muscle takes up a lot less space than fat. So for example, this is a piece of fat and this is a piece of muscle. They weigh the same, but they take up a very different amount of space in the body. That's because muscle is more dense. That's what recomping is. We typically use it to describe what happens to newbies. Whereas gaintaining is basically, it can be a bit of a controversial camp. It's basically people that believe that even as a more trained individual who's been in the gym for years, you can gain muscle while not having to bulk, basically while not having to gain fat. And I think this is true, but it just takes way longer than bulking. So some people are down to gain a little fat if it means that they can speed up the muscle building process. For example, me, I'm down for bulking. I definitely had to come around to it though, because bulking was scary for me in the beginning. Whereas people who gaintain, they don't really want to gain muscle as quickly as possible if it's at the expense of their lean physique. So a lot of people are either in the bulking camp or the gaintaining camp, and sometimes they beef. I think both are valid. I've worked with clients and I have gym friends who are more down for gaintaining and others who are more down for bulking. It really is kind of just preference. So if you look at this picture, this is a picture of me recomping. So these pictures are about 2 years apart. The picture on the left is me in the beginning of my fitness journey. And I remember back then my goal was like, I want to lose weight. That was my goal. Once I learned about strength training and the importance of building muscle mass, because when you can build muscle mass and get stronger in the gym, that's what gives that toned appearance. In both pictures, I shit you not, I am weighing the exact same, but my body composition looks completely different. And it's because I recomped. So all I did to recomp was focus on hitting my protein, honestly heal my relationship with food, and learn to stop being afraid of eating more. And I actually started learning how to eat more food, believe it or not. And no, I did not gain weight because I was eating more of the right types of foods. So I was eating more fruits, I was eating more carbs, more fats, but the right types of carbs. So I was eating things like rice, I was eating bread. And I know some people are like, dude, how do you eat bread and rice without gaining a ton of weight? And the reason is because also I understood about calories. I understood that the bread on a slice of pizza is going to be different from 1 to 2 slices of toast at home, maybe with a little bit of butter, you know what I mean? Eggs and a side of fruit. two completely different meals. One is going to nourish you, empower you in your workouts, and help you build muscles. And the other one is probably full of fat, way too much fat, right? Because there are healthy fats, and it's going to weigh you down. It's not going to make you feel very good. It might spike your blood sugar. And if you're a super noob, I highly recommend Recomping, because you don't really have to learn how to count calories in order to recomp. It's good to have a basic understanding of it though. And then what is maintaining? So you already learned cutting, bulking, you've learned recomping, you learned gaintaining, then there's maintaining. Typically people who bulk and cut use the word maintaining, and it's basically what happens when you're not bulking and you're not cutting, and you are kind of just satisfied with where you are at the current moment, and maybe you have a lot going on in life, or maybe you're just tired of counting calories, and you just want to take a break to enjoy the physique that you built and just enjoy where you're at. Maybe be a little bit more flexible with your food since you're not counting calories. And I recommend that most of us spend a majority of our time either gaintaining or maintaining. Because, again, fat loss is very taxing on the body, and it should not be something that we do perpetually. It should be something that we do for a window of time. So you might cut, go into a maintenance phase, cut again, or you cut, bulk, and then you cut again. So it's always good to cut up phases of cutting with maintaining, so you can give your metabolism a little boost, and so you can give your mind a little boost, so you don't end up being so obsessed with food and thinking about food too much and being so ravenous that you kind of accidentally undo all of the hard work that you put in. Now, reverse dieting is basically the diet after the diet, or it can be the diet before the diet. It just depends where you're coming from. So if you're somebody who you don't really have a consistent eating schedule in your life, maybe you're that type of person that wakes up, you have a coffee, maybe you have a granola bar, you don't eat all day because you're working, and then you come home and maybe you get like Chick-fil-A, or you get pizza, or you get Chinese takeout, or you just eat whatever, you snack, you know what I mean? You eat whatever's in front of you, and you don't actually have like a consistent, nourishing, balanced eating schedule, you know what I mean? Then you could benefit from a reverse diet before the diet. And then if you're somebody like me, who you're coming up on the end of your cut and your body's fatigued, you're hungry, and you don't want to immediately stop counting calories, you want to slowly reverse diet, slowly raise your calories to help you boost your metabolism, to help you follow a structured plan in a moment where you are feeling hungrier, and it can be easier for you to overeat on the wrong things. Reverse dieting is basically a tool that gym rats, especially bodybuilders, the ones who like get on stage and they do competitions, it's a way for them to slowly come out of their deficit, slowly come out of their diet without ballooning and gaining a bunch of weight. Because think about it, if you spend like 12 to 16 weeks in a caloric deficit, and every couple weeks or so you're slowly decreasing how much food you're eating, your body's gonna be really hungry. You're literally spending 3 to 4 months under eating, you know what I mean? So reverse dieting is a tool to help you not blow up and eat everything in front of you and gain weight quicker than you'd like. Sisters, my camera battery literally died. So now I'm eating the end of the food that you watched me kind of meal prep because I was not good at multitasking. Where were we? Yeah, reverse dieting. It's a way to upregulate your metabolism, to teach you how to eat more food so that when you go back into a fat loss phase, you can lose fat while eating more food. Or it's a method of slowly coming out of a fat loss phase so that you don't gain a whole bunch of fat because you don't have any structure after a period of being in a deficit. So here's an example. Let's say you finish your cut at 1,500 calories, eating 1,500 calories per day. Maybe for the first 1 to 3 weeks, you immediately up your calories back up to maintenance. So you immediately bump up your calories to 1,800. You're already starting to feel good. You get more food. Keeping in mind that you're still trying to eat the same foods that you were eating when you were cutting. You're just eating more now. And then every 1 to 3 weeks or so, you increase by like 1 to 200 calorie increments until you slowly work your way up to a place where you're not obsessed with food. You can eat super amazing tasting food like pizza and stuff without feeling like you need to binge, and your health markers are back. Maybe if you like lost your period, if you're somebody doing like a bodybuilding show, your period is back, you're sleeping better, your digestion is better, like everything is restored, your energy is back up, and your lifts are stronger again. And if you want, you can go back into a cut after your reverse, or go into a maintenance, or go into a bulk, up to you. Next, we have the words anabolic and catabolic. You'll hear people being like, bro, that's not anabolic, or dude, this shake is so catabolic, or anabolic. Anabolic and anabolism, first of all, is just the process in the body of building muscle. Catabolism is the opposite of building muscle, so breaking down muscle. So at any given moment, there are processes happening in our body that can either be building muscle or losing muscle. So being in a caloric deficit, for example, being in a cutting phase, technically is putting the body in a state of catabolism, or in a state of breaking down muscles. That's why it's so important when you're losing fat to not only get enough protein in, but to make sure that you're maintaining your strength in the gym, and to make sure that you're not dropping your calories way too low, way too quickly. So that's anabolic and catabolic. And for example, strength training. So strength training would be something that triggers anabolism, or building muscle in the body. And training with the right intensity, like training hard enough, can also trigger anabolism, or the building of muscles in the body. Protein is a macronutrient that contributes to anabolism. It's like the building block for building muscles. Now, we got through the first half of the stuff. That was more of like the tricky stuff, honestly, I would say. Now let's get into supplementation. Supplements, creatine, protein powder, whatever. I just want to first give a disclaimer that you don't need supplements to see progress in the gym. If you're eating enough food and you're working out like a fucking badass superhuman, you're going to build muscle, point blank period. But if you like to spend your money, if you think it's fun to spend money on supplements, if you are super into your fitness journey and you just want to maximize it as much as possible, here are some supplements that can maybe do 5% of the work. You got to do the other 95% of the work, that is training hard and actually eating well. So the first supplement is creatine. I'm not even taking creatine right now, but supposedly creatine is a molecule that can be found in our muscles, and we use creatine for short bursts of energy in the muscles. So if you're doing a set, and a set is like 10 reps, it's like a short burst of exercise, you're using your creatine in your muscles. Now, creatine, we found through research, and it's the number one, it's basically the most researched back supplement in the market. Like, it's not going to be a waste of your money if you do decide to buy it. And it's honestly also one of the cheaper ones. When we found that when we supplement with creatine, it helps make more creatine available in the muscle. So the idea is that if you supplement with creatine, it can help you push harder in your workouts. It can help fill your muscles up with blood. So actually, it makes you look more swole, okay? And it's supposedly supposed to help with recovery as well. So 10 out of 10, I love creatine. I just don't want to spend money on it right now. Protein powder is basically something that can really fill the holes in your nutrition. If you're somebody who you're still learning how to get protein from sources, like from protein sources in your diet, from meats and dairy products and animal products, or maybe you're allergic to some animal products, or maybe you're vegan, protein powder can be a great way to supplement protein so you can get enough protein in your diet to help you build muscles. And it's like, it's not a meal replacement by any means, but it's a great snack, honestly. It's great on the go. It's just easy. It's something that can make our lives easier. I'm not personally using protein powder right now, again, because I don't really feel like spending money on it. But I have in the past, and I've loved it. Here is a brand that I trust, PEScience, or one of. I also like Buff Chick supplements. Be wary because some protein powders can be like nasty and they can have heavy metals in there and they're not third-party tested for heavy metals and like shit that shouldn't be in there and like weird fillers and weird proprietary blends. So try to get the good, pure, clean stuff, for lack of a better word. A mass gainer, basically, long story short, is something that skinny people drink that is like a calorie bomb that helps you get in a lot of foods in liquid form, like a lot of calories in liquid form and a lot of protein in liquid form. So typically people who drink mass gainers are people who are struggling to gain weight. When I think of someone struggling to gain weight, I think of like a really skinny, tall dude with like a metabolism through the fucking wazoo for whatever reason. And they like drink like 1 to 2 mass gainer shakes a day. I think one shake is like something crazy, like 1,000 calories to help them build lean muscle and put some meat on their bones. I've never taken a mass gainer. I've never had the need for a mass gainer. So there's that. Pump products. I've bought one pump product and I bought a Buff Chick Supplements pump product. I've enjoyed taking pump products in the past because typically they tend to be no caffeine, so non-stimulant, and it does exactly what it sounds like. It's a nice pump for your muscles. From what I understand, pump products contain like electrolytes and salts and compounds that when you drink it, it just helps you get a better pump. It helps your muscles feel tight. It helps you stay focused so you can focus and have like a better mind to muscle. And that also helps create a better pump. It's also just a nice placebo to feel like you're taking something, like you're taking a magical potion that when you drink it, you're going to be more focused. You're going to work really fucking hard. You're going to feel a juicy pump. If anything, I would literally just buy it because it's fun to spend money on stuff and take it for the placebo. And because they usually taste good. So that's a pump product. L-Carnitine and beta-alanine, you'll hear gym people say this. You can buy them on their own. Like some people, gym rats who are super extra and they don't like the way that pre-made pre-workouts make them feel. They'll literally buy L-Carnitine, beta-alanine separately, and then they'll make like their own pre-workout concoction. I don't really know what they do, I'm gonna be honest. I know that beta-alanine is the thing found in pre-workout that makes you itchy. L-Carnitine, I'm not even kidding, I don't even know what it is. But it's usually something that you find in pre-workouts, and sometimes extra gym rats that are really extra will go out of their way to buy these compounds in like powder form on their own. I've never done it. I've only taken beta-alanine that was in my pre-workout that I bought. And speaking of pre-workout, pre, post, and intro workout, obviously the pre-workout is the concoction that you take before your workout. Typically it has, like I said, beta-alanine and caffeine and other supplements in there that help you get a pump, that help you become focused, that make you itchy. It just makes you feel something. And sometimes you just want to take something. Just the ritual of taking pre-workout, it's almost like your mind psychologically gets into a place where you're like, okay, it's game time. So if you can create a ritual around working out, that can be really helpful. I'm not even taking pre-workout right now. Again, because I don't want to fucking spend money on that bullshit. So I just drink coffee. So for me, the ritual of drinking my coffee can get me in that headspace. Maybe for you, it's buying a $50 tub that's about this big. It was for me in the past. I would buy pre-workout in the future, just not right now. I just understand that I don't absolutely need it to make gains. But it's fun. Why not get it if it's fun? A post-workout is whatever you're consuming, ingesting after your workout. Typically, I'll have a post-workout meal. Maybe you'll have a post-workout protein shake. But most people like don't actually drink like a post-workout supplement. I don't hear many people talk about like a post-workout powder. It's usually just a post-workout meal or a post-workout shake, you know? And then an intra-workout is something that you take during your workout to give you carbs, to give you energy in carb form. So I've seen like power lifters like eat gummy worms in the middle of their workout. I've seen people, and I've done this, take like a Gatorade to drink in the middle of their workout. I've had clients who have been like, Marina, I get really lightheaded or dizzy in the middle of my workout. And I'm like, try taking an intro workout with you. And they have reported back to me that has been really helpful. So if you're somebody with really long intense workouts, an intra-workout might be a good option for you. I've done it in the past and I've really enjoyed it. I didn't really stop for any reason other than just like, I stopped. Like I didn't buy Gatorade one week and then I just kind of stopped taking it, but I'd be down to take it again. And that's all of the words for today. Thank you so much for joining me. I hope that was helpful to you, and tune in for the next video and the last video of the series. And yeah, that's all I have for today. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. Subscribe if you're into that. If you really, really like it, share it with someone who you think might benefit from this information. And don't forget to ding, 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 ding. Click the little notification bell so you never miss another video from me ever again. Bye.